Hi there, this is Marc from the atvguys, and today we're speaking about this Altera 600 from Arctic. All new? Yeah, all new. Well, not exactly true because this is a 2022, but yeah, we weren't aware that Arctic was launching it. We didn't get an email either about it. Well, we just found that out because there's a local dealer who's a friend of mine who talked to me about this thing, and he said nice things about it. So I said, hey, I want to review it. So the guys from Arctic Canada and that dealer, which is DB Moto, they got me this thing. So this is a base level Altera 600. There's 3 or 4 trims, including the mud trim, a TRV, which is a 2-seater. On this single-seater, there's 3 trims, if I'm not mistaken. There's an XT trim, and then there's a limited, and there's another one that was called, I think it's called Black Hills, which is all different equipments and the equipment levels and stuff like that. But for now, we're going to concentrate on the basic unit. And the most important feature is that this thing's been completely redesigned from the ground up. This is not like the Altera in 2015 where they had the whole redesign, but basically the underpinnings were exactly the same engine. The engine wasn't that bad, the 700, but it was, it was lacking in power, lacking in response. Lots of people liked it, but if you wanted a little bit of performance, many people were left on their appetite for performance on this unit. Now, downgrading to a 600 is very different because this engine is a 600cc single cylinder rear mount. Well, I think it's the only, I think it's the only mid-level engine ATV on the market right now because the whole engine is in the back. And that engine is a little screamer because I think it's rated as the second most powerful right now in the single cylinder, right behind the 570 from Polaris. It's rated at 45 horsepower. Come here. I'm going to show you something. Now, usually all engine configurations, usually the engine head or the lump of the engine is going to be right below here. But if you go there, there's a gas tank. The gas tank is down here. But what I want to show you is this. There's no engine here. There's an airbox. The fuel cell is under here. You can see the fuel cap. But the engine is right here, and it's slanted rearwards. And it's a one lump engine with the transmission. Everything is in one big lump. And as a professional mechanic, as soon as I saw that, I went, oh, hell yeah. Because anything that has to do with maintenance or just basic repairs, electronic diagnostics and this stuff, all this stuff that was a real nightmare on the old Arctic Cats, remember 2009, all this stuff, everything is accessible. So you got the throttle bodies here, the ECU is there, the diag port is right on the side here. You can remove these side panels real easily. Check this out. I'll show you on the clip. And you can lift, the valve cover and do the valve maintenance like in a snap. Like I can do a whole valve maintenance on this thing under 30 minutes. Well, this is cool. And at the same time, when you remove the panel on my side here, you got access to the oil filter, you got access to engine fill plug, you have access to the master brake cylinder from rear brake master cylinder. This is the platform I think is the easiest to maintain that I've seen in recent years. You don't have to tear down the whole bike. Even the CVT is really easy to access in case you break a belt or just for basic maintenance. Even in the front here under, you can see the front diff, good accessibility for the radiator, which you can clean from the back and get all that crud out of it when you had fun in mud so it doesn't overheat. You have also access to the power steering unit, which anything that has to do with diagnosis or stuff like that is really easy to access. So for me, pretty nice setup. CVT on this thing is, I think it's Team Industries. It's a direct drive, so there's no wet clutch in there. And this thing can snap a wheelie. I'm dead serious. You can raise the front wheels off the ground. It's that direct, and the engine is extremely responsive. That's what I like about it. We haven't ridden it much, but we're going to have a full review with onboard cameras about the performance of this thing. But I just wanted to talk to you about it because this is a whole new design. The rest of it is like brakes is link brakes. There's only one brake lever up front, brake pedal, link brakes, single pot calipers seem to work great. Basic setup is pretty decent. I kind of like it. I'm not usually a fan of Arctic Cat because I kind of found that they were a little bit cheesy. They were a little bit cheesy or cheaply built in the past. Build quality is decent on this, but I get it. It's like easy to use, easy to maintain, with a good engine that has a lot of response, a very good CVT. Every component on it. This is a mechanic's wish, a mechanic's dream. Easy to work on. You know, everything is simple on this thing. One thing it lacks is lock four-wheel drive, which is available on the upper trims, XT and over. You can't lock the front diff, but you really need that if you're just bombing around. It all depends on what you want. A couple of about $1,000 more, you'll get a front winch, and you'll get lockable front diff. Plus, you'll get aluminum wheels and 26-inch tires. Talking about tires. I don't get it. A good package like this, because the suspension on this thing is very, very nice. It's got 11.5 inches of ground clearance. That's what it's advertised at. It's just in the back and the front. It's 10.5 inches. Not bad. But why? These look like golf cart tires. They suck. It's a Kenda generic, about the cheapest thing you can buy on the market. You know, bulk. Slap on a good set of radial tires, traction, off-road. The Omega is good. The Bighorn 2.0 or a CST Stag. If you do touring, like on the Eastern Canada, lots of federated trails where you can ride. And if you ride more than like 10, 20 clicks on a ride or sustain speeds 40, 50, 60, you'll enjoy having radial tires on this thing. But these absolutely, definitely, absolutely suck. They're 25, 8, 12 in the front, 25, 10, 12 in the rear. You can maybe take them off and recycle them, or make a nice flower pot for your front yard. You know, really, these suck. Rest of it, fit and finish. It's typical Arctic Cat. It's not their main selling point. You see gaps and stuff like that, but the assembly of the panels is nice and solid. So that's a good point. Another thing is this rack front and back. We're not in the 80s anymore, Arctic Cat. They used to have an Altera with a nice plastic cover. Maybe I haven't seen the upper, like the limited and all this stuff, but even on the basic trim, it looks like recycled metal from the factory that they just slap some powder coating on. And maybe the person that actually welds these should actually learn how to weld, because the welds are absolutely awful, very bad quality welds on this. At least not in the looks department, you know, because this thing, it's not a $7,000 ATV. This is an $11,100 ATV in Canadian money. So it's not cheap. It's not very expensive. But if you want the upper trims, you're going to have to dig down in his pocket and go up to a little bit over $13,000 for this. And the basic fit and finish is just passable at best. But the whole look, you have to give it to them. The look is really nice. You know, very nice headlights. You keep the signature Altera look, but more beefy. Looks better. Extremely comfortable seat. That was something I was starting to worry when I saw the engine with the head right under your buns. There's actually insulation in there so you don't overheat your buns, and the seat padding is very good. Seating position, I like the seating position, first of all, because you have a commanding sight of what's happening in the front, and the angle you see in the front, the angle of attack when you go up a hill, you actually know what's happening up front. A lot of ATVs are sitting more lower in it, better comfort or something like that. There's just different ergonomics. I happen to find this is one of the best to see what's happening up front, close to your front grille. Bar position, you can adjust it a little bit, but it's set up at the stock configuration. I'm a 6'3" guy, 230 pounds. I like the position. This is going to be comfy to ride. Also, the footwells, very comfortable, very natural to be in it. Even if you're a smaller stager person, right up to 5'2", 5 feet max. Under that, you might find that the leg room is going to be stretched a little bit because it's made for big and tall person, for Americans. The layout is very nice, and there's good splash protection on it. So when you're going through puddles, a 6-inch or 12-inch puddle, you don't have to go 10 clicks an hour not to get splashed. This thing is going to splash and splash out the way it's designed. Also, the heat, because of the engine is being back there, the exhaust pipe is this long to the full exhaust, the muffler in the back, and it's at the very end of the bike. So lots of heat that doesn't even touch you. The only heat you can get is from the rad up front, and everything is sealed in here. So all that air is going either on the sides here or through and under, which is going to keep everything cool. I like the thought of what they've put into this, and that 45 horsepower engine. I'm liking it. It's spunky enough. I'd love to be able to make a head-to-head with the class leader in this, which is the Sportsman 570 from Polaris, because I think this, just performance-wise, suspension and everything, I think this can give it quite a run for its money. If you're looking for something sturdy, because this thing has 11.5 inches of ground clearance, this thing is made to go off-road. It'll do straight stuff all day long, but it's made to go off-road. And with that ground clearance and the way the footwells are made and the ease of use and the angle of how you can drive it, this thing's going to be a beast off-road. One last thing, Jason, if you want to come by, the instrument cluster, they finally got rid of that old one that was dated from like 15 years ago, and now they've got this one. It's a little bit similar to the old one. It's got everything you need: gas, gear position, the engine RPM, or you can select to go in the kilometers per hour, and the odometer and all this stuff. It's basic. The only thing missing in there, and that's a critical point, where's my engine temperature? How do I know if this thing's overheating or not? That's one of the low points. You got a power outlet here. I wish it would be. Everybody's using these things mostly for phones and stuff like that. And don't put your finger in there, Jason. But the addition of USB ports, maybe on the higher trim, on the Limited and the Black Hills edition and stuff like that, would be a good addition, because everybody's got a phone now. And charging them up is important, especially if you stay stranded. With the new standards coming in, cell phones are going to have emergency support via satellite. So you need to have these phones charged up, especially the newer generation ones. There's a storage cubby here, which is pretty big. It does the job. There's no frills on this unit. But what I like about it is function, and I can't wait to go and ride this thing, do the ride report with onboard cameras. It gets a passing grade. I just can't wait to try the engine and the CVT and just beat the living crap out of it. Sorry, but yeah, it's better. That's a good thing. Especially I like the fact that now they've got their own engine. They're not outsourcing engines anymore. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna go out to ride it very soon because right now our trail systems are closed because of weather. We're getting a lot of snow this weekend, so winter trails are gonna open probably next week. So behind that camera over there is Jason, and I'm Mark from the ATV Guys, and this is the 2023 Arctic Cat Altera 600 base model. See you later.